Today is the second day of summiting Mont Blanc from bottom in Les Houches to top, and today we are starting from the refugee du Gel, and we are making our way up to Goûter Refuge. We'll be crossing the Grand Couloir today as well. That right here is where the Tramway du Mont Blanc stops, just about like 5 meters from the refugee. There in the distance we can see the Grand Couloir, or well, actually cannot see because of the clouds, as we have a little bit of loose rocks right here, so we got to be careful. The guys out there are sliding down and they are too tired to go down the normal way. We are probably going to do it too in like what, 2 days. There we can see the shelter that has been closed for like a few years. Here we have the shelter. There you can see the Goûter Refuge, and Tête Rousse should be, well, behind those rocks, just before this steep slope that the Coulouir starts. From now on there's gonna be a lot of snow. The wind is starting to pick up a little bit, but that's expected because today on the summit Meteor Blue shows 80 km per hour or even 90, so the wind is very much expected today. Hopefully in the next days it will clear up. I mean calm down, that's the word. Now we have to go up those zigzags right there where those 2 or 3 people are. Here we have a little rock scramble right now on the route, and there behind Tomek you can see the Agile du Midi where the cable car goes. So far we've done 450 meters of elevation gain, so we are 1/3 of the way down, or of the way up. Matter of fact, this is not even a rock scramble, it's just going up a rocky trail. No real difficulties, other than maybe sometimes there's a little bit of ice on this path, so we got to be careful there. There we have an emergency heli, likely taking someone down from the mountain. Well, ain't that easy, I guess. Here we have first fixed trains on the approach to Tête Rousse and Goûter, but those right here don't really seem to be needed. Perhaps they are used when there's a lot of snow or ice on this path. Here we have first little technical part, I believe. Go up there, and then the route continues. I don't know if you can see, but like there, and there where the people are. So yeah, let's go. Well, with the gimbal it will be ever so slightly harder probably, but hey, let's go. Well, this seems to be pretty much it. That was quite easy. You have a cross for somebody that died here, likely. Only 19 years old. Now we'll go up there, shoop. And this is pretty much how the route up to Tête Rousse will look like. Nothing too fancy, quite easily doable. Here we got something on those two little hills. We are thinking this is a meteo station, but those cables look weird from far away. Here we got an absolutely amazing view. Alpine, du Midi, Chamonix, you nice. Those are the views that we live for. Another little traverse through a pack of snow. And here we have already the Tête Rousse. Then from Tête Rousse we go up those zigzags, cross the Grand Couloir, and then climb up to Goûter. We're going to Tête Rousse first. We're gonna take a little break there, maybe eat something, drink something, and then go for the Grand Couloir. First.
Matko boska.
Gimbal z kamerą.
Nie wiem jak się to nazywa, ale wyobrażam sobie ile to musi ważyć.
No, nie jest lekko. This is how the Tête Rousse looks like inside. We won't go there and I won't show you more because we'd have to take our shoes off and get the flip-flops out, and we are too lazy to do that. Maybe on the descent. We are getting our crampons on, ice axes out, helmet also out, and yeah, in a few minutes we'll be leaving for the Grand Couloir, which is right there. The couloir is supposed to be stable today, as it's been minus temperatures in the night, so there shouldn't be any major rockfall, but still got to be careful.
Just before crossing the couloir, we have to climb up this little slope. It's about 150 meters up from the Tête Rousse, so really just a small climb and you can do it pretty quickly.
And here we have the Grand Couloir up close. We have a little bit of a rock scramble just to get to the couloir. Now this normally would be pretty trivial, but I have a gimbal in my hand. But don't worry, I'm gonna get it into the backpack before crossing the couloir. But I want to get just one more shot. Got to be quite careful here when you're climbing with gimbal.
This little scramble up to the couloir is yet again nothing fancy, just a little warm up, let's say, before the ridge climb up to the Goûter that comes after crossing the couloir.
Tomek is crossing the Grand Couloir right now. There seems to be right now two variants to choose from, this one and this one here with the fixed line. But we are going there because it seems to be the more popular one. There are some rocks falling right here, but small ones, so not too worried. Now it is my turn, so let's go.
Although this variant was much more well trodden than the lower one, it had one quite big disadvantage, which is that it was steeper. Therefore, when trying to cross as fast as possible to avoid rockfall, you can get really burnt out. But on the other hand, on the descent, you can pretty much run through it thanks for the path then going down. And even it might not look like it, I am really going the fastest I can right now. I mean, you can hear by my breathing on this recording. So yeah, it was a bit steep and quite a workout with 14 kilograms on my back.
Hey, let's go. I'm still alive. Nice. Overall the snow was very good, quite hard. Pretty much the only rockfall we saw was those three little rocks. And there we can already see the Goûter. So we just got to climb up all of this and we will be there.
First tens of meters of this climb are really annoying, as there's a lot of loose rocks and a rock scree, so those first meters are not too technical, but you've got to pay attention and be careful, as it's easy to either grab or step on a rock that is not stable at all.
Overall, not too hard, but those loose rocks are very annoying, and because of those loose rocks you got to be very careful here. Route right here on the Grand Couloir is marked with those dots, so it's easier to find a way, because if it weren't, then it would be, well, quite hard. I mean, quite hard. It would be doable, but that is ever so slightly easier, so that's actually pretty good. What a view. There we got some other guys. They're still making the ascent. Probably a guide with a client Seems like it at least. Here you have some first fixed chains or rope. So that is probably one of the harder segments. Well, we will see.
That indeed marks the start of the steepest and the hardest section, which is mostly secured with those cables and a lot of metal parts to either hang onto or step onto. And although this is the hardest climbing part of Mont Blanc normal route, it doesn't mean that this is really hard climbing. I wouldn't even call it climbing, I would call it more so scrambling. And as far as I know, if you were to grade it, it would be a UIAA 2 grade. So, like I said, easy climbing or even just scrambling. And matter of fact, as you will see, I will be climbing without the use of any of those metal parts. This is just the way I prefer to do it. I don't really trust those metal parts. I just rather interact with rock. Though you definitely got to be focused here, as any mistakes such as slipping or placing your foot on a loose rock, like I said before, could mean falling all the way down the couloir and probably unaliving yourself. Which is also why guided tours go here roped up, so if a client were to slip they wouldn't unalive themselves. But we decided not to row up here, as we all felt pretty confident in our ability to free solo this.
I mean, it's pretty easy, manageable, definitely. Now we're gonna flip Tomek from the up.
Tam gdzie ty?
Tak, tak to wygląda przynajmniej. No, nie wiem czy tam gdzie ja. Nie wygląda to dobrze.
Now here, although like I said before, the climb is marked with those dots, there are some fragments that you might get ever so slightly lost. Like for example this one, where we had to stop for a second and think of where to go as a dot wasn't clearly visible.
Section, and we got another section with rope. But it doesn't seem to be that hard either. Or either, depends on where you're from.
While we were ascending, we got still quite a bit of hard-packed snow or even ice on this route. Now likely by the time you're watching this video, or in general later in the season, all of this climb is dry. Matter of fact, I am pretty confident in that, as when we were descending this just 2 days after this recording, it was nearly all dry. So unless you've got some snowfall or minus temperatures in the night, it should all be pretty much dry.
Now this right here seems to be ever so slightly harder. Perhaps the hardest one we've done so far. If you don't use the ropes or the steel lines, I don't know how to say.
Here Tomek is climbing using those cables, and he makes it look much easier than me, and well, that's pretty much how easy those cable sections really are. So unless you want to climb without the use of those metal parts, then it's really not that hard of a climb. Matter of fact, I would even say that the hardest part really is the start and the middle of this climb, where there's a bunch of loose rocks and some boulders without cables or any fixed metal parts.
Last 10 meters and we'll pretty much be at the refugee. That seems to be not so easy without the, if you want to do it without the lines. That seems fine. And this too. And here at the old Goûter. I go with you from here. There some skiers probably made a little camp for themselves. Legal or not, I will not judge. And we are pretty much at the new Goûter Refuge.
Once we arrived at the refuge, we talked to some people that attempted the summit today, and all of them said that they had to turn back around because the wind was too strong, which didn't really give us an optimistic view on tomorrow's summit push. But whether we made it or not, you'll have to see in the day 3 video, so make freaking sure to subscribe so you don't miss it.
It all took us from Nizza Gel nearly 7 hours.